Live from New York and Oklahoma, it's Dungeons, Dragons, Discourse.
That's
Live.
me, us.
That's us. I'm Eric Tenkar. With me, the man with the hat, with none other than Old Man Grognard Glenn Hallstrom.
Here I am.
Here he is. Here he is. So,
We were
we-
just talking about you people. No, we were.
peoples, the wonderful peoples. By the way, if anybody, including I got to apologize to Dave. Dave, I never got into the chat last night. I was
I was
doing a
wondering
live
about
stream. I was doing a live stream with Don and Tom, and a troll came in that was
it.
so entertaining.
Looks
And
like
that,
you got a you got another you're a regular on another podcast now.
yeah, but I'm usually off by 9 o'clock to be ready for my Discord. But I couldn't,
Ah,
I couldn't do it, dude. I was in the zone. I was in the zone. I was like so much in the zone,
no problem.
and then at the end, I couldn't. I thought I'll just get in late. I was exhausted.
Really?
Um, yeah, because when you and I do this, there's a a back and a forth, and
Mhm.
people like once the chat gets lively, the ball gets thrown more at you. When I'm with Don and Tom, I don't do anything behind the scenes. I just do this,
I'm used
and
to that.
when I can just do this, no holds barred. By the way, folks, no, I didn't get beat up. Um, but I am on like blood thinners and stuff. So if I just like rub my head the wrong way, I occasionally sprout leaks. So it's like
Sorry.
it's
Well,
okay.
you
I had that
we,
at the wedding I went to 2 weeks ago. It's like, man, you got into one hell of a fight. I'm like, yeah, apparently with my own hand because it's
okay.
nothing.
Okay. We were talking about StreamYard before the show about
Yes,
vending spoons, buying them, and I didn't know they also owned Meetup. But get this, I also found out they also own Evernote,
yes, I saw that
which
too.
which makes me think because Evernote's been going through like, oh, it's all free now, all this stuff, all free. It's like
You get
that
less
probably
and
had
less and less.
that probably had something to do with them buying them.
Yeah.
So
Now, that part of the article that I read actually explained that Evernote has been cutting back on what you get for your free membership. And Paul, yes, I am still taking more of the how I started gaming calls, and I'll probably get to that more of them over the weekend. They would- right now, I spend my spare time trying to figure out the new software that I have to learn before October 7th, when I have to leave this StreamYard shit behind because it's now owned by a company that realistically abuses their customer base by more than doubling the price for the service. Fugly, we trolls take offense at the casual usage of us as a
really, I'm
negative.
sorry.
Fugly. Uh, All right, so here, this number is the voicemail number for the tavern. So if you want to leave a message for me, you can address your message, uh, even to Glenn if you wanted to. Um,
Are we gonna be like playing those on the air and then answering
I,
them?
I did actually do that with one of them. Now here's the thing: my computer is so smart that if I play it through the computer speakers, nobody can hear it, including
How
me.
smart is it? Um,
I got to
now,
play it back up the phone, but it
now
came out.
can you do that with the new service you're going to?
I'm gonna figure it out. I think so. If not, I can always just play them back. It's a Google Voice number.
Got it.
And by the way, folks, just as an open secret, that's a local New York number, which was awesome to get. But the 5168, when I saw that was available, you choose your own number with Google Voice. I was
Right.
like, that was my old Shield number, so of course I got to take it. You got it. You got to do it, man. You got it.
It's funny that That Goes Hammer, we have a voicemail on Google Voice too, but it's a new one. We had one way back when, and I was the one who chose it, and I chose a 405 area code because that's my area code, and I figured, okay, I'll remember it then. And I still didn't remember it. I still had to go, Brian?
What's the number, Brian?
It's 405 something or other. But now
David,
number,
David, actually, that's a good question. I guess it would be considered a local U.S. number, but it would be long distance if you're calling from overseas. I will see if there is a service that accepts call-ins. It's not a Zoom or a Skype. I don't know Skype. I used Skype back in the day, but I'll see if there's something we can do for our international listeners because they are an important part of this community. Just throwing it out there. Sorry.
Oh, really? They don't have to. They just get me to do the recording. Yeah, excuse me. You have reached this number in an error.
Gilbert, you gotta scrunch your face up more, Glenn. You gotta scrunch your face.
I told you in one of my campaigns, all the shopkeepers were Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh my God, I'd kill you, Glenn.
The shopkeepers. Yeah, well, they said, how come he's always Gilbert? Well, they're brothers. He's got all these brothers in these other towns. And they got like a candle shop and a general store and a magic shop.
Glenn, do you remember the Jackie Mason commercial where he was talking about the car that like parallel parked itself? It's amazing. I turned the car left, it goes right. I turn this way, it goes that way. I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, folks, we don't need AI to do bad voices. Honestly, if you want bad voices, come to Glenn, come to me. We may even have a few good ones.
Come to him, okay? Because he is gonna give you the bad voices. I give you good voices.
Optional rule. I think people can send you recorded voices on WhatsApp from overseas. I'm gonna have to check into that. I have to check into that. That's interesting. That's not a bad idea. I am trying to, like I said, bring the community into this channel, whether it's the Friday lives, the Wednesday lives. Now, we're not one of those classic radio talk shows where I can take live callers. Hello, you're on the air.
I'd love to do that.
We wouldn't
even have to have a 5-second delay because we're on the internet. They don't care if we cuss.
Yeah. You get Baba Louie. It's like
Baba Booey,
whatever. I never was into Howard all that much, but
I read one of his books. It was very good.
You know, it's like you're gonna get the heavy breather. You know.
So, have you ever seen those YouTube videos where these local public access shows that come on and people how they prank them all the time? There's this one guy who was talking about, I don't know, the political situation or whatever, but he was rather rotund and had a sharp nose and stuff. And there's this guy kept calling and says, well, what happened when you tried to take over Gotham City? Because he kept thinking he was the Penguin. And yeah, and there's this one guy who was a psychic that would just get these outrageous calls, and then he'd just sit there for 5 minutes and berate the audience about it. They're hilarious. They were hilarious. Anyway, I did my good deed for this week.
Wait, you gotta wait. I envy you, Glenn. You only got to do one good deed a week. Man,
they're lucky they get one.
All right, Glenn. What's the good deed of the week?
Well, I have this friend named Heath Holland, an internet friend. He has a website and a YouTube channel called Serial at Midnight. And he's a collector of movies. And I mean, he expands a little from me. He collects like CDs and, books and all that other stuff. But we always like the same movies. And I put one of my one of my old man Grognard's Grindhouse out to show my collection. And he put on there, he says, "Hey, that is so cool. I am so jealous of your Naked City box set." So today, this came to him, courtesy of me.
Oh, very nice.
And he thanked me. I'm going to thank you on my show. He says, "Okay, fine. You look, I had the jack at the time and it was on sale. So now you're not envious of me." So anyway.
I'm envious of Glenn. I'm always envious of Glenn.
Of what? There's something to be envious about.
You got a nice room for your setup, sir.
Hey, you know how long
you can be a contender.
I've been here for 24 years this year, and it took me this long to get this set up.
24 years.
Yes.
Oh, wait. You haven't been. Yeah, you haven't been there for 24 years.
No. In Oklahoma, I mean.
Oh, okay.
You know, and going from, being a gypsy, going from, house to house to house. And every time you got to pack it up and haul it. And you know how it works.
No, I know. By the way, folks,
well, actually, the last two moves, I like the one before this. See, we always call in movers to move the furniture, but I would move everything else in the car, with trips. And this last move, Becky said, "You're not doing that anymore." Why? Because you're 67 years old. That's why.
Ooh. Whoa, dude, she called rank on you.
That's pretty good.
Hey, I don't mind that. I don't mind that rank. I would rather, this is, we've got by the way, we closed on the house last week. So now we stay put.
Very nice.
Yeah. So that's why I can put everything. I don't have everything in plastic boxes and everything. I can have everything out that I want. In fact, let's see if I can do this. Okay, get my Naked City thing out there. See this, you can't see it from my butcher block table, but I've got this other thing that looks like it was some kind of, I don't know, display something, but it's got 4 drawers and all my box sets in there and fit in there. And I just pull it out and it's really nice. We've been antiquing a lot, the antique stores. And I found this and I said, and they hadn't even priced it yet. And the lady who owns the shop went over and said, "Okay, if you take it with you today, $50. If you don't, I'm going to price it at $100. And I said, "You got a deal." And so it took me a couple of guys to get it in here because I, didn't have the oomph. But there it is.
Once you hit 40, the oomph starts getting, unless you're
you got that right.
There are certain ages football players like Favre and
even
New England Patriots.
Even Arnie slows down. Slowed down.
Yeah. But Dave, we can arrange call-ins from trusted members. We could do that. Actually, I'd like to do that. I think that would be a blast to have a call.
Members.
Trusted members, sir. Trusted members. You got to be vetted. Because listen, we don't have a call screener because all these professional shows that do call-ins is like, yeah. What do you want to ask Glenn? You want to ask him about his? No, we can't ask that question on the air. No.
Well, we could ask anything on the air. I'm just glad we're not doing a political show. That would be crazy.
Oh God! Listen, Kazuhu or Vecna? Who's a better presidential choice?
That's a good one.
I think I'll go with. I'll take the tentacles. They sound like they're more fun.
I'll take the tentacles for 1,000.
All right.
I get these guys saying, "How many genders or sexes there are?" And I said, "Well, there's 2 genders, but there's a lot of sexes." "What do you mean?" Let's see. Missionary, reverse cowgirl, doggy style. Yeah, there's plenty.
Reach around, resting
Yeah, reach
combo.
around,
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, blowjobs, that counts.
Yeah.
So
it's like, no, you misunderstood. No, it's like, maybe you
no, I
misunderstood.
didn't, because that's
I'm giving you the
as
answer.
far as I'm going to take that. I did it for the joke. Yes, I did it for the joke.
So Tom says Tammy pulls rank on him all the time.
Oh, me too. Let me tell you. I sent you something this last week about Ginny D. Remember, I put that. I basically put that in there, one, to keep you informed, and two, that I thought we could talk about it tonight. Although I don't remember what exactly it was that she did.
Well, hold on a second, Glenn. Let me go back to the videotape.
Because, Facebook, they're famous for the magic act of poof,
okay, so Glenn, I'm gonna tell you right now. Here, I'm gonna take a screenshot of what that link takes me to right now, and then I'll put that screenshot.
I thought there was an outside chance you do a Tenkar's Tavern on it, but that's okay. I still want to talk about it. I thought it was rather amusing.
Apparently it was so amusing that the guys at Facebook decided, hold on, I'm gonna share a screen, folks.
I hope you can do this on the new streamer too.
I hope I can do it on this screen, because I don't know if it's going to show up or not. Let me see.
Well,
Oh, I got a spinning dial on my computer, so it isn't a StreamYard issue.
That's
it
not.
Is it is a computer issue.
You do this all the time. I thought you'd, be able.
All right, hold on a second. Let me try this again. The browser can't access your system. Try capturing a different screen. All right, hold on a second.
Maybe I should have screenshotted it. I just sent you the link.
All right, hold on a second. There we go. That's what I get. Sorry, this content isn't available now.
Did you get that when I sent it to you?
No.
Huh. Yeah.
I get that now.
That sounds about right.
Oh
well, what are you going to do?
So now this Ginny D. We're not just talking about Ginny because of her fine choice of hair color, or the fact that I probably have socks that are older than Ginny D's been playing D&D.
I got dice older than her.
I've got my original dice, so that's heck.
Miss
what?
Miss Technicolor.
Yeah. We talk about Ginny, and do you see who? You know who pops into the chat?
Yeah, Mike. That's good.
We talked briefly about Satine yesterday.
Oh, really?
Oh my God!
She's another one. I don't know. Ginny D always looks like she always looks like she's wearing soft serve on her head of a different color every time.
Well, because she's got that exuberant energy. And listen, I liked her. I don't know.
I actually enjoy some. I actually enjoy some of her content because she does come with some good ideas.
Mike says he would buy Ginny a pair of socks. No. Or you would buy Ginny's socks. Is that what you're saying, Mike? I want the socks, the ones that have been on her feet for like 3 days straight, and a pair of like really old shoes. Those are the ones that Mike wants. We understand, Mike. It's a fetish. We go. Uh,
You want to see the? Okay, yeah, sure. I think he's trolling to get on.
are you trolling to get on, Mike? He must be. Hold on.
Hell, that's all right. We said Ginny, and poof, the genie Mike appears.
You know, Mike is like Candyman. Candyman.
Ginny D, Ginny D, Ginny D.
Oh, look, it's Michael Battalato.
I do want to show Glenn the office, he says. All right.
All right. Well, it is a nice setup. I
Is it?
will admit, yeah, it is a nice setup.
Okay. Well, I'm always willing to look at stuff like that. Lord knows we got HGTV running on here all the time.
Okay.
Fancy.
First of all, leave Ginny alone.
Leave my Ginny alone.
Oh, come on.
Leave Ginny alone. She's just doing a job. She's making a buck.
Yeah, well, so is everybody else on YouTube.
Yeah, she's just, she's having a good time. She's doing whatever. The kids love her. What can you say? So
okay,
Glenn, here's the office. So here's the office. So I
guess something happened this week. I don't know. Oh yeah, oh nice.
You got the wall.
I wish I could show you mine.
So, well, I mean, this is where the reason I got it, so I wouldn't have.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
So, I mean, for a year, I've had, wall. Before that, when I was at the warehouse, I had all that artwork. Remember, I had all those.
Oh,
I had Elmore and Easley and and Otis and all that stuff. And then and then when I moved, I kind of just set up upstairs in a little nook, and I was just kind of slapping things on the wall. So this was my original dream, was to have shelves and then be able to display my slab comics and my
zines and your modules, and
yeah,
boy, you really packaged them right, didn't you?
So everything in the middle shelf, I was telling Eric Wednesday, that's all first appearances. Mm-hmm. And I got some stuff today. So I went to pick a few stuff today. This is the one I picked up. Are you today. Really look, condition isn't great on some of these. Okay, I'm going to tell you, but it doesn't matter because these are stuff I had when I was kids. This is the first time Captain America fought Iron Man and vice versa. Also, oddly enough, I didn't know this second appearance of Kraven the Hunter, which I don't know what he's doing in there. Maybe he was fighting Iron Man or something. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, so I added this today, and then I added this today. Now this, once again, it's got a tear. It's 440 means below average. It's got a torn the page backward up.
Okay,
I got it because it is.
Friend of the Couture.
It's got this little thing right here.
Oh yeah.
It's UK. It's a UK version. It's not the.
You're buying. Okay, you're buying from collectors.
No, this is just stuff I had later on the house.
I mean, it's great. It's graded. That's what I'm saying. It's great.
Yeah, it's all great. It's great. So it's a top shelf of the stuff like the I got the Dragon one.
Nice, very nice. That's very nice, Mike.
Strategic review number 1.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you run games at your house?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In that
I run them in my kitchen. No, I run them in the kitchen. This room's too small. It's too tiny. I wish I could run them in. I wish I had a place to run games. We used to run them upstairs, and according to my wife, when we walked around upstairs, she thought we were going to fall through the ceiling because the ceiling, she's boom, 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 boom. All these big, giant, big dudes, 5 or 6 of us. When we played up there, she was worried that we were going to fall through the ceiling. So she said, "You can just keep playing in the kitchen." I know she didn't want us to play in the kitchen, but she's like, "Okay, I don't want the."
I'm still trying to justify decorating this room.
Why do you don't have to justify it? Just do it.
Well, to me. I got to justify it because Becky's.
You mean in your own head? Okay, I got you.
Becky's been doing a bang-up job on the rest of the house. We've been antiquing. She matches stuff. It looks beautiful out there. Here,
well, I want to say this is all my wife. She tore this room down. It had not been cleaned in over 20 years. Wow. I have before pictures. They're disturbing. They're disturbing. They're more disturbing than me wanting to buy Ginny D socks. They're very disturbing. And so everything was pulled out. The floor, we did a wood floor. So wood floor, carpets pulled out. We
Nice.
I haven't put anything up yet. Not yet. She bought everything behind me is new. It's all IKEA. It's stuff for storage. I got places for just different things. I got my maps and stuff there, and then I'm gonna have more. And then so this is the high point here. I rescued my 20-year-old stereo, my old component stereo.
That's nice.
I put it up, and then that's where my shipping station is there. And so she put up new
lots of socks.
So anyway, yeah. So eventually, when I get everything up, I'm going to find some. Now the problem is I got to find art that fits on the wall because I have very little wall space this time. So I've got, and it's real weird shape. It's like sideways.
I look around here. I can live with the 80s panel look. I could live with that. That's not the thing that I mean, I got stuff to put up. I got maps up my butt that I can put up, plus the Arduino map stuff. And I keep thinking, who is going to see this besides me? Nobody. Why do I bother putting anything up?
Well, but I mean, people will see it when you do broadcasts like this. I mean, I just was tired of doing it. And behind me, everybody had some. Jim had his giant library, and Eric got his stuff, and I had like 3 posters slapped on the wall. Okay, and a fridge and a mini fridge. And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The camera points this way, and you can't see. This is decoration too. A lot of my collection is here, plus over there.
Is that in shrink, Eric? What is it?
Whoa!
Oh, no. Okay.
These are on Amazon.
Oh, hey, those are nice. Those are those shiny. What do you call them? Those wood,
metal. They're metal.
Where'd you get those?
Yeah. Amazon. They're like $8 a piece.
That's nice.
So
they are pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to hang them up in a place you can see them when we do the Saturday night Gamers Hell.
When I tore this room down, so we got about 50 boxes out of here. They're still all in the garage. I'm going through them one by one, Glenn. In every box, I find something. Look at the ceiling. There's Glenn's ceiling.
No, that's my ceiling. Boy,
so
that's something.
I am real close to being a hoarder, but everything has a point. Has a point.
Right.
I'm going to share with you a few things.
Let's see if I can move this gimbal over to what I'm looking at right now, besides the computer, which I can't.
It's like the wall. There's the wall. There's up there.
There's nobody. It's you're not cooperating.
Well, here, if we're gonna show that stuff off, hold on.
All right, see if we can see
now we got that up there is.
I would have to unscrew this to do this.
I've got I've got what do you call it? Beer steins all over that Dutch shelf.
Oh, nice! Hey, that's a good theme. I like it.
This is what I'm staring at.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So what you need to do, Glenn, is when you do the broadcast, turn it around so that's behind you, because I want to see all that stuff. I want to look at it.
I'll try. I mean, I've got a webcam here that I bought, and I bought this big gimbal from Temu that sits you right there because I got tired of the same view.
So the way my office used to be is my desk was against that, was facing that wall. So when I did, every once in a while I would do a podcast from here, it would just point to nothing. It would be like, so I did everything specifically so there would be something cool behind me that I could look at. So you're gonna have to switch your office around your desk so you're facing out.
And my gaming stuff, it's right back there. See that one shelf, and the rest of it's in the closet. So folks, really, I am a gamer. Yes, really.
He's in the closet, but he's a gamer.
Yes.
Yeah. No, the games are in the closet. Maybe they're.
So why were you kicking Jenny around? I didn't hear the beginning.
I found something online that I gave Eric, and I thought, well, maybe he can do something on here.
All right,
but it's gone, as all Facebook things are.
And what about? So we didn't talk about Satine Wednesday night. You must have talked about it last night on your. Oh, Glenn, did you see their show last night? It was ridiculous. It was just. It was ridiculous. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. It was insane. They were loaded and they were falling over themselves.
Wait. I was totally sober. No alcohol in me. What's up? Michael, I can get high on life. I can.
Well, somebody was loaded.
Oh yes,
I'll tell you who.
a certain Cole was loaded.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Tom might have been just a little.
Oh, I thought Tom was going to piss his pants. I
Yeah,
swear to God,
he was-
I really.
I've never
did.
seen him laugh so hard. He was living it.
Well, I've gotten beyond the. Well, I can do a show loaded. I have done a show loaded, but I'm beyond being shamed for it. So
that's because you're wise and older. You're older and wiser, Glenn. That's why.
But again, Mike,
Really?
I was 100%.
yes, Nichols Hammer.
I was 100% sober. All right. My last alcohol was 2 glasses of wine the night before. Now that being said, I can certainly listen. I'm a retired cop.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to verbally give out a beating. Believe me, because you can't do it physically. So I know how to give out a verbal beating. And my God, that was a wood shampoo and then some.
Well, I'm just glad to see that gamers can actually talk about gaming while shit-faced.
Well, I used to have a rule at my table in college.
I can do that.
No alcohol at the table. Because
yeah, I'm with you, Eric. Same thing. We did the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you started drinking,
yeah.
If they started drinking,
we almost came to blows, my brother Robert and I, one night, because he worked at a bar and he got there in our weekly game and he was loaded and he was disrupting everything. I said, "That's it. You're out tonight. You need to go sit," because we were living together at the time in an apartment. I said, "You need to go sit in your room or do whatever." Bullshit, I'm not too drunk to play. And then we were like right here, like brothers are, yelling at each other. Like, you are drunk, you're not playing. I want to play. And then I hugged him.
I
said, I love you, brother, but you can't play. We're just too drunk to play tonight. He goes, okay, you're right. I am. I'm too drunk to play. Because he couldn't really
outside of the con, I've done that too. I used to for like 5 years running when I was in San Jose, I had my weekly champions game, and whenever it fell on New Year's Eve, I would play and get plastered. I mean,
well, I remember a certain game in North Texas we played.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. You said, "Oh, we never have liquor at my game."
I take it back. Well, that was you. That was a Maker's.
I wasn't the only.
No. Knobs Creek. Was it Knobs Creek?
Knob Creek. It was Knob Creek. But I wasn't the only one who was partaking.
Okay, Eric,
a lot of it.
All right, looks like I got to be a referee here.
Eric, okay. It was passed around the table, but it kind of stopped at a certain point around the table. It stopped, and then it just stayed there. And the next thing I know, when it came around, there's like this much booze still in the bottle.
Oh, there was more than that.
And then this guy up here is like, he is hooting and hollering and he's having the best time. Everybody is laughing their ass off the table.
You don't understand. I had to keep drinking. I had to, because I was rolling 18s, 19s, and 20s.
He was rolling great.
I was rolling great, and I wasn't going to jinx it.
He didn't want to jinx himself, and so he just. But no, that is the farthest gone I've ever seen, Glenn. It was glorious.
Glorious. You weren't in the bar last year with Eric and Raish then?
No. That was glorious. Everybody loved it. We had a fun game. That was game. Oh, that was great. Bill Barsh was that game too, and he was making.
Oh, that was fun. That was a fun game. Last year it was like I had 2 or 3 Boilermakers, and I talked their ears off. That's what I do. If I'm not, gaming aside, that's what I do when I get drunk.
You talk more than you talk. Wow, that's tough.
Yeah.
Hey, so Glenn, this is a nod to all of the gangster movies and private detective movies we watch.
Yeah.
I've got a bottle right here in my drawer. Because every detective worth his salt in the movies. Yeah, he got a little bottle. He has it down there and has he had a slug in his desk. Takes a slug whenever the case gets tough.
I knew a teacher that did that. So
I've known teachers that do that. I've known business guys who did that. You know, But yeah, it's.
I'm not saying I knew any cops that did that. And I will say, don't close the drawer fast if it has beer in it because it will spill. Just saying. I what?
I'm about to say, I bet you had more than a few captains and lieutenants that had a bottom drawer with a flask or two in there. Because they're like, oh my God.
So quick story, and I'm not going to name names, even though the statute of limitations is certainly gone for everybody. But it was about probably 1999, early 2000, maybe. Working a late night, my unit did a lot of arrests. And me and one of my partners are doing all the paperwork with our sergeant. And with us, we have a gray shirt rookie from the academy who was a professional ball player. Spent years in the Met system and actually a few played some part-time for the Mets in the majors. Nice guy, real. And me and my sergeant and my other cop, we're all dressed down because we're just doing paperwork. It's like 4:00 in the morning. We're still rocking and rolling. And my sergeant goes to me, you know what? This has been a long night. Why don't you go around the corner to the bodega, pick up some silver, Coors Light. So I go around to the corner, pick it up, bring it up in a bag to the office. And we're partaking and convinced the rookie to have a little, Now it's 5:00 in the morning. We hear the outer door office open. Oh shit! Everything in the drawer. Slam the drawer shut because the desk was just a paperwork desk. There was nothing stored in it. Mm-hmm. And who was it but our lieutenant? And as the lieutenant comes in, you can hear a trickle as the beer cans fell over and are now pouring out of the desk bottom drawer. So my lieutenant, like, Lou, what are you doing here? You don't start until like 7:00. Oh, I couldn't sleep. I figured I'd come in early, get some paperwork done. Now the office is starting to smell because you've got fresh beer trickling out. So we're all kind of like, Lou, why don't you do you need us to get you anything? And then finally he looks down at his feet and he's standing in a puddle. And he goes, all right, gentlemen, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to be back in 15 minutes, and I expect this desk to be clean and dry, and there to be nothing untoward in this office. And he walked out, and we went, holy shit.
Well, you dumped it on the floor. Why don't you just say
drink as best you can?
Yeah, I would have said sorry. I lost control of my bladder.
I had so much beer,
I didn't
Lou.
need to pee on the floor. You know?
Oh my!
I mean, I was like,
well, that was cool. That was good of him to know what's going on and immediately figure out. Okay, I'm just going to walk around the corner.
That's a Brooklyn.
I'll be back in exactly 15 minutes, no longer, no shorter. Which, by the way, I also had a lawyer for the city tell me and my sergeant that one day, like, it was a lawsuit, and she's going over it with us, and she's like, listen, these are your folders. You're not allowed to look at your folders. I'm going to get the coffee, and I'll be back in exactly 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look here. I'll see you in 11 minutes. And then by the way, I'm locking the door so nobody can come in.
I don't want anybody else to come in and look at those stuff either.
Yes, it's like, okay, thank you.
That's a real Brooklyn Nine-Nine moment.
The Dean Martin of the OSR.
That's me.
Yeah, I mean, in the late 90s, it wasn't uncommon. By the time 9/11 rolled around, it was totally verboten, not just in paper, but in practice. But early on, and I mean, I asked the lieutenant if I could leave early, and pay what you gave up some comp time by doing so. And without even looking up from his desk, he just goes, yeah, red, white, and blue. I went, I'm a rookie. I have no idea. And I go to the assistant The guy who answered the phones, the telephone switchboard guy. I'm like, Chucky, who, by the way, Chucky would do midnights in a pajama shirt and one of those classic sleep hats and a pillow and would sleep at his desk. Can't make this shit up. And I'm like,
my God. Yeah, that's.
I went Chucky. He just said red, white, and blue. He goes, all right, yeah, listen. Go dress down, go around the corner, pick up. He said red, white, and blue. All right, that's Budweiser. If he said silver, it's Coors Light. What do I do? I goes, bring it upstairs, go to the lieutenant's office, put it right in the doorway, right inside the door. I'm like, okay. And then what? And then go home and call me when you get home. I'm like, call you. Call me when you get home so I know you got home. Do you understand? I'm like, okay. So.
Wow. Is this what I've got to look forward to when I go visit you?
No, dude, I'm retired, man. Come on. You're gonna.
Oh, I thought you were going to take me to the old precinct. This is where
I will.
Where I screwed up.
I'll show you. I'll say, hey, this is where we arrested 33 people. Hey, that's the roof. That's the roof. I almost popped somebody. This is the hill. I had the bike with no brakes on. You'll be able to get all those wonderful stories and be able to picture it. Go.
It's like I was there.
It's like I was there. It didn't change much, did it?
Oh, this is gonna be a trip.
It'll be. I'm really jealous, man. This is gonna be sounds so much fun.
Get a flight. Come on.
I've got Gamehole Con next month. I've got Long Con 2 weeks after that.
Well,
so
he's got
my concert calendar is filled already. I can't be spending any more money on fun trips, even though it sounds really fun. It does sound fun, and I don't like to fly very much anymore. I'd have to be already there through a long involved drive. So.
I looked at the calendar. I've got one more of these shows to do before I head out.
It's gonna be a pisser.
In fact, I noticed that the 18th, when I'm supposed to be running the show, I won't be there because I'll be at Jason's running a game.
That's okay. We'll bring Mike on or something like that.
Oh yeah, so we got backup here. We'll get Jenny. We'll get Jenny D and Satine to come on.
We'll have Glenn call in from the show. Have Glenn's running a game. Call in.
Can I say? Yeah, I'll be able to say. Filled in for Glenn is Satine Phoenix, and how you doing?
If I'm able to do it, I will do it. It's just that I look at the calendar. It's like I'm going to be in New York and out before I get on the next show.
But we'll get you on Gamers Health or something.
Oh, I know. You're gonna plaster my face all over Tenkar stuff.
Like this is Glenn. Live from New York. Glenn Houser.
But so David brought up the fact that Jenny went to the castle and ran the game. And for those who did, I think I explained this why that happened.
I saw the video
because Satine. That was when Satine and Jameson Stone got unpersoned in the gaming industry. They got all their gigs got canceled. They got all their special guest gigs, and one of their deals was the castle gig, and that got canceled, and they had to.
They're out of business.
I think they're out of business, sort of, kind of.
Oh, way to start a marriage.
She's working her way back to you.
Did you get the impression watching? I'm sure you saw that latest video because we didn't talk about. I didn't know. See, here, I guess you guys talked about it last time. We didn't talk about it Wednesday. You saw the latest video, right?
I have made a point of not watching the Instagram videos because, and I'm going to tell you flat out why. Because there is not enough disinfectant in my house to make me clean and able to lay next to my wife at night and not feel squeezed. So
I've rarely watched a video and been able to absolutely 100% track somebody's marketing strategy from that one video. But I was able to 100% track the marketing strategy, and it's called "Me Too Isn't Quite Over Yet." Me want me too, because I don't have I got to come back from this. So I'm going to start throwing people under the bus that treated me badly. And without naming names, she goes into many experiences she had in the gaming industry. People treated her badly. And I believe one of them might have been her present husband if they're still married. I don't know.
Yeah, one of them probably was probably Eric.
Oh, that was.
No,
Yeah.
it was different people. I'm sure one of them was probably our buddy Zach. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Zach,
yeah,
I think gave me my end.
I think I don't know how things are between her and Jameson, but it sounded very much like Jameson was involved also. But I guess we'll see if the strategy works. So who knows?
Wasn't the whole thing her initial video was all about Jameson, right? I mean, that's pretty much. She wouldn't name him, but she spelled out if she's talking about infidelity. There's no other, and recently being homeless or couch surfing, because her and Jameson broke up.
Well, you see her new look too. Her new look's very serious. She's not messing around anymore. She's got that crop silver hair, and she's ready to do battle with the bad guys of the world and tell people that she's back, baby.
She looks like one of those paladins from 5e 2024.
She reminded me of one of the hookers that Zach seems to hang around.
Oh, ouch.
Those
are, by the way, well, I'm going to take up for our buddy Zach here. Those are not hookers. He hung around with porn stars for a while.
No, all right, porn stars. Sorry. I got it wrong. I'm sorry.
And she
one gets paid a hell of a lot more than the other.
Yeah.
She got her start as the D&D. Was it the community manager or community whatever the hell?
Well, no. Before that, no. She did videos before she was community manager for Watson.
I know, but she got right. But she got known because Zach from doing the videos with her was like, "Hey, Mike, Mr. Merles, I've got the perfect candidate for you."
Yep.
And she
was on Hit It With My Ex. Well, I think it was about 26 episodes. Yes, she was prominently featured in Hit It With My Ex. And I'll say that I tried to watch Hit It With My Ex a few times, and the jump cuts killed me because it was like, I was oh my, I don't care. There's porn stars. I can't see them. I can't see what's going on.
Do they even play? I mean, it seems
they play D&D. No, they play D&D, but
it's like they're mucking around.
The camera would not stay in one place longer than 8 seconds, and it just I couldn't. Look. I've taken the hits for lots of stuff. I read Zach Smith's book. I did porn. I read the whole book. I took the hit for that. I saw the first season of Rings of Power. I took the hit for that. There's some things I can't take the hit for, and watching every episode of Hit It With My Ex, I just couldn't take the hit for because I was dizzy at the end of the first one. I was like, oh, why is there so many jump cuts? Oh my God. But I've taken the hit before.
Jump cuts are a sign that people cannot actually have a conversation. Like jump cuts are there to remove dead space. All right. Yeah. And I get very annoyed when I watch certain videos. I can handle a jump cut every 10, 15 seconds, but you watch certain YouTube personalities and it's a jump cut every 3 or 4 seconds.
Well, these weren't these weren't even just the regular jump cuts. These were like they're filming one thing, the next thing it's over here on the wall, the next thing it's over here showing this. I mean, it wasn't just even a regular jump cut,
right?
And it was just it was somebody's attempt to be be artistic. I'm going to be really artsy and whatever.
Artistic,
and I tried to watch it, just couldn't do it. But yes, I did porn. I read that. I read the whole thing.
You wrote that?
Yes, I'll say
I thought I only did art books and game books.
Well, that was his autobiography, and I will say, as I always say, that he actually was able to make porn boring for me because he explained the business from the inside. And I was like,
you gotta do it.
I'm trying to stay awake.
You need the right fluffer to make sure you can keep on going.
I don't think his heart was in it. It just didn't seem like the way he was talking about it in the book. So.
Yeah.
I don't think his heart was in it. I'm sorry.
I know what I mean. By the way, did you see I got some new suspenders?
You know what? I think I'm about ready. Well, no, my wife won't let me wear suspenders. I would love to wear suspenders. She won't let me.
I finally, at the ripe old age, I finally realized why older men wear a belt and suspenders, which I do.
Mm-hmm.
The belt's to keep it on, the suspenders to keep it up.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're doing the old hoist thing.
I'm hoist. I do. That's why I was thinking suspenders might work for me. I'm hoisting all day long.
Yeah, and now, hey, I look like Sandy Peterson. Oh, I always remember him wearing it at the con.
That's right. He did. He wore. Yeah, he was a big suspender guy.
Yeah. So hey, I linked that into gaming. How about that? Anyway. So who else can we trash? No.
We don't trash nobody.
How about
No.
New York cops? No, we don't want to do that.
I want to. Glenn, I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question, Glenn. If I can ask you a question, because Wednesday night show became an hour long. What science fiction fantasy series do you like? And Jim and I talked about that an hour and a half, and finally we let Eric jump in because he was manning the comments.
Come on.
But so what are your just name your favorite fantasy and your favorite we're talking book what? We're talking books. Favorite fantasy and favorite sci-fi.
Good luck.
You're serious.
Good luck.
Well, I know you've read a million. Just throw one out there that we might not have heard of or that we don't. Because I was trying to find stuff that was obscure, and I think Jim threw a few obscure ones out there too. Because I wrote some stuff that I wrote some stuff that he said that I didn't even recognize. So,
Mike, you catch me off guard because I never read science fiction.
Oh, okay. There we go. We just learned something we didn't know, Eric.
Little fantasy.
Wow. Okay. This is.
if I'm going to read something, it's going to be like Lewis Carroll or Sherlock Holmes, and some Raymond Chandler.
So I'm a huge Pulp Fiction fan in terms of I like private eye novels and private detective. Are you also a private detective kind of guy? Because I'll read Chandler and Hammett and classic guys, McDonald and.
You ever read Stuart Kaminsky?
Yeah, he wrote. He's the guy that wrote historical mysteries, right? He wrote
the Toby Peters series,
and that was in the 40s. It said the 40s or 30s. 30s.
It's set in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yes, those are really good.
Those were the great. I love the first one, Bullet for a Star. Wonderful. He did Murder on the Yellow Brick Road and You Bet Your Life and.
Yeah, because he was a detective that worked Hollywood, right? And so he would always get called in for.
Right.
I think I read Yellow Brick Road. That was about one of the midgets getting murdered, right?
Characters that were just wonderful. My favorite one of his he did called Never Stake a Vampire. And it took about a murder mystery, and Bela Lugosi was involved in it, and all these other guys. And the one that threw me for a loop is it was the guy who did the murder was Alfred Hitchcock, but it wasn't Alfred Hitchcock. It was a guy who looks like Alfred Hitchcock. But anyway,
I read a few of those. I remember Yellow Brick Road because I think it was one of the midgets got murdered, right? Or one of the, or they suspected one of them did. It was during. So they made a movie about that Under the Yellow Brick Road with Chevy Chase and.
Under the Rainbow.
Under the Rainbow. About what it's based on a true story about what happened when they had all the cast members for Yellow Brick Road in this one hotel, and it was just absolute chaos the whole time because you had like 150 little people just like running wild,
going nuts.
So, yeah. And so I think I believe Kaminsky's novel was set during that too, but I'm not. I think it was. I haven't read the log on time.
The third one was good. You Bet Your Life, where he had to basically save Chico Marx from gamblers who he owed money. They're gangsters that he owed money to. Yeah,
and Chico was the gambler too. He was known for.
Kaminsky did his research on this stuff. It was great.
They were very good. Yeah.
He really nailed the period. It was wonderful. Now, I thought you were going to talk about movies. Fantasy?
Oh, I know movies. I just didn't know what your books were. Now that I know, that's really interesting. That you're not a big fantasy
The
or
few
sci-fi
fantasy I've read, the few fantasies I've read is the Lord Darcy series. I really
those
like
are
that.
by Randall Garrett. Yeah, those are really good.
I read the short stories. I read Too Many Magicians. He had some really clever stuff in there that I was hoping to use in my game, but I never did.
I haven't read those in a long time either. He is a magic user detective or a mage detective, and he belongs to society.
His Dr. Watson is this Irish magician, Irish mage, wizard. And I like in that world that all the wizards are sancted, registered with the church.
That's it. Yeah, they're all. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, and
so they all belong to an organization.
He was like the Queen's investigator and things like that. But it was really, really well done. I like.
Those are considered classic. Those are really good. Yeah, all the Lord Darcy. They're in a big collection. If you want to buy them all, they're in one giant hardback collection.
Oh, good. Yeah, I thought Too Many Magicians was just kind of blew me away.
I don't know. I showed this off before. I don't know if this is something you even heard of. But I recently splurged on this. This is my Christmas present. This is the complete John the Balladeer by Manly Wade Wellman. So you're going, what's John the Balladeer? Who's Wade Wellman? He's in Appendix N. The John the Balladeer story is Appendix N. The reason is this was what the Bard was based on, the D&D Bard.
Really?
Gary loved. So John the Balladeer. So there was 5 novels and there was numerous short stories written over a period of about 20 or 30 years. This has everything he ever wrote in it.
Oh, so by the way, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say so. The setup is he is a bard that wanders the Appalachian Mountains in the 20s and 30s. He's got a mandolin with silver strings, which comes in handy sometimes when he must battle undead. So he battles a lot of the, I guess you call them cryptids. The kids call them now cryptids. Kind of weird things like ghosts, witches, demons, anything that lurks in the Appalachian hills. He'll go there and he'll sing a song, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, "Hey, we need help doing something." He'll go and see what the problem is, and then he usually solves it. And sometimes he must use his silver stringed guitar to bash the head in of a witch or a demon. But they're really, really good. Highly recommended. And I think this is the only collection with everything, which includes all the novels and all the short stories and some other stuff that was never published. So this is a very good book company. Hafner Press. They also put out some other good, really good pulp fiction collections of some detective story writers that I really like from the 40s and 50s. So
there was something. Oh yeah.
No, that's it. No, that's it.
I think there was something in Too Many Magicians, which I understand got an award for the best locked room murder mystery. There was a thing where one guy had to do a sword fight, and the other guy, what was it? He was a wizard, and he put invisibility on his sword before he went into the sword fight. And in that world, invisibility is more of like an aversion spell where you can't quite see where it is. It's like a blind spot. And this other guy screwed. No, this other guy screwed. He had an ability to see like a few seconds into the future, so he could always parry the guy. And I thought that's cool. I wish I could do that in my game.
I just wish I could see things that happen. Well, a few seconds wouldn't help me as much as like say an hour. I'd win every lottery first of all. I'd be rich.
Oh,
and
hell
then
yes.
I'd move on to.
Oh,
actually,
I
yeah, that wouldn't be
I forgot.
good.
I've also read my share of Lovecraft.
Oh, okay. There you go. I've got So these side shelves are eventually going to have my books in them, and I have the Arkham House Lovecraft sets.
By the way, look what I got the other day. Where is it? There it is. Look what I got the other day.
Oh, what is that?
That's the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society's little 45-minute movie on the Call of Cthulhu. You never seen that?
Oh, yes, that's really good.
It's a silent film because they made it like it was in the year. place.
I've seen it, and it's brilliant. It is,
Isn't it?
Brilliant,
isn't it?
It is incredible. Yes, it's probably the best Lovecraft movie ever made. It is absolutely brilliant. Eric, I'm sending you the link to Half Press. You can post that. Somebody was asking about it.
Cool.
And then you can see what books they offer. I'm looking here. They've got True Detective, but like mostly detective books. But they also have Weird Tales authors. I sent it to Eric, so Eric can, or it's in the.
Okay.
It's in the.
Now they did The Whisper in Darkness too, which was a sound film because it took place later.
That wasn't bad either. I saw that. That was pretty good too. That one did not exactly follow the book, but it was still really good. That they do a very good job. They have a what do you call it? A unprofessional cast. They're just amateurs. They're all amateurs.
Right.
But the great thing about those movies is they do it by the book, and that's one of the problems with Howard and the problems with Lovecraft is that they never do them by the book. They always have to change everything. But Call of Cthulhu is pretty much exactly the silent film by the book, and Whisper in Darkness is very, very close. And if you're a fan of Robert E. Howard, you know that there's not been one single Conan movie ever made that has any plots of the actual Conan story.
They take a little here, a little there, and they
Lovecraft has the same kind of problem. They don't really do. They don't. It's like they do it 80%, and they have to add their own 20%. Even I don't know what's the guy, the real famous horror writer who's probably done the best Lovecraft adaptions. He still adds his own stuff too. Which Guillermo. He still adds his own stuff too. He doesn't do 100%. He was going to do, and he thinks he still may do someday. He's going to do Mountains of Madness. But he already said he's going to change it up a lot because the structure of Mountains of Madness, if you've read the story, it happens afterwards and it's kind of all build up. And that would not make a very good movie. It'd be kind of a boring movie. So he's going to have some more action, he said. But that has never come to pass. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'd love to see his version of Mountains of Madness. I think it'd be good.
That would be nice. Sometimes I kind of regret not playing Call of Cthulhu anymore. I don't know why, but
there's more Call of Cthulhu being played than ever now. You can find groups a lot easier than it used to be. I know that.
You know what I used to like about Call of Cthulhu was I liked the interaction of the NPCs and the players. That was my favorite part of it. Gangbusters reminds me of that too, but you could also like get the weird people in there and the cultists and the guy who owns the bookstore and the this and the that, and just I'd play them off against each other, and it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I stopped running it because I felt like I couldn't come up with anything on my own. I was running like modules, all the time. And it's like, dude, you got to come up with something of your own. I just couldn't do it. I mean, it's even hard. It's also hard for me to do Hyperborea the same way, but I manage.
Well, one of the good things about Call of Cthulhu though, is at this point in time, there's so much material out there that if you don't want to write your own stuff, you don't have to. There is so much material out there now, and it used to be not like that. There was usually just with stuff.
Yeah, usually for the one game. Now every game has a Cthulhu supplement. In fact, that I remember telling Mark Hunt he wanted to put in Gangbusters that last page, the occult option. And he was talking about like swamis and how they used to have in the 30s and 40s, these guys. And I just told him, you better not put any Cthulhu in there. Why? Because you can't swing a dead cat in the gaming community without hitting a game that has.
First of all, there's a game called Call of Cthulhu that already takes place in the 20s. You don't need to add that to your
there's one for D&D, there's one for Savage Worlds, there's one for Labyrinth, you name it. If they want to do Cthulhu, they'll do Cthulhu.
Now I would say that there is room in a Gangbusters campaign for horror, not necessarily not cosmic horror, mind you, but more like just
chill,
kind of
like chill.
Maybe a mummy or something, or you might throw in a vampire. I mean, and then just throw the player, just for every once in a while to throw the players completely off. They think that there's a. So I mean, here's a plot just off the top of my head. So there's a group that's there's a group that's running booze across the border, and suddenly they all disappear. The gang totally disappears, and so a member of the gang, the last member of the gang, hires the private detective. Hey, I need you to go find out what happened to my buddies. Legal, illegal, whatever. They're just all gone. And I know the rival group didn't kill them. I don't know what happened to them. What happened was they were looking for a hideout for their bootleg whiskey, and they found a vampire lair, and the vampires killed them all. Yeah, and so your cast of gangbusters characters, your private detective, your TV, your reporter, your newspaper reporter, your ex-cop, whatever, they all stumble into this like, oh, okay, what is it going to be? And then, of course, when they start running into the tropes, they're like, okay, you did not just put a vampire in this gangbusters game. You just did not do that. And you're like, yeah, I did. I think every once in a while it would work. Every once in a while, you couldn't saturate it.
I gotta hand it to Chaosium. They did try to break away a little bit. Remember those two Blood Brothers books?
Yeah, those were the ones based on movies. Yeah,
but it was non-cosmic horror.
Right. It's just, and not only that, it wasn't just non-cosmic horror. It was specifically movie trope horror. Like they would say, okay, this is a slasher one, this is a alien one, this is a werewolf one, and they would give you all the tropes. This is an abandoned amusement park, so whatever.
I ran one. I ran the one where it was Vampire Lord versus the Mafia, because he was coming into town trying to take over their territory, and the Don wouldn't have it. I like that because of the fact that they gave me the stats. I used it. They gave you the stats for Abbott and Costello.
Oh, God.
And I used it as NPCs. But that game was, and the funny part is, I had to teach my players how to be gangsters. They were gangsters, but they were going to this hospital and trying to get info out of this one intern or one doctor or whatever. And they were in his office with the glass thing and everything. He says, well, he won't talk. What do we do? He says, you're a gangster in the 1940s. What do you think you do? And he says, the one guy says, okay, I go over and close his shades. And the other guy picks him up. It's like, look, it's like, yes, that's what you're supposed to do. I had to slap him around a bit. Oh my God. It was so fun. It was a lot of fun. My God. Eric, you're awful quiet.
Yes, you've been very
good.
quiet.
I'm taking care of the chat.
Oh, okay.
They're very chatty.
He's ordering socks for Jenny D on Temu.
I'm ordering socks from Jenny D.
No, I don't want worn socks by anyone. That's gross. That's a kink I don't have. Sorry.
What if it's got a picture on them?
No.
What if it's got a picture on them?
Don't do that. No, I don't do that. I don't roll that way, baby.
I'll never wash them again.
Who was the well, I don't expect you guys to know, but I remember once there was an influencer that was selling her bath water. Do you remember this girl? Yeah.
Sure that wasn't Satine?
She made a lot of money. And then she got busted because it turned out it wasn't really her bath water. And then that people got really angry then. It wasn't her actual bath water. It was just water she just put in there with a little soap in it. And she lied. It wasn't her.
Liar.
You couldn't even pee in the water and give it to us. Oh,
whoa, hey.
Well, you go there, you know.
I did. Yeah, I opened the door and you ran right on through.
Right through.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't walk. You kicked. You just ran through and did a barrel roll once you got in there.
Something like that. Ay. So what do you got going, Mike, in the next week or so, gaming wise?
So we just ran a game, not this weekend, but the weekend before. We're only gaming once a month now. But I'll tell you what's wild is we actually scheduled our next two meetings, which are going to be the first week in October and the first week in November. We actually all got together the last game 2 weeks ago. I said, okay, what's everybody got free? And we planned it out. So we're gaming through the end of the year. December is going to be a little dicey. But yeah, we're in session. We just finished session 13 of Dwaro Deep, and they are now beneath the ground, and they're actually in the halls of Dorodeep. It took them 13 sessions in a year to finally get below the earth, and now they're below the earth, and they're going down. And we had a great time. Yeah, they have a party 15 strong now because they brought all their hirelings and their mules and their summoned creatures, and everything's down there because they're not messing around, man.
Isn't it refreshing? You're playing 5e?
No. We're playing 2e.
Well, isn't it refreshing that you actually have players who hire hirelings?
So
in 5e they won't do that. The players I've seen won't do that.
Right. So my groups never used to do that. They wouldn't hire hirelings because they're like, no, we don't want to split things. So I made a different system. I made a system. I used Eric's genius system from Swords of Wizardry Light. Their hirelings go up depending on how many adventures they've been on. So they go up to second level after 2. They go up to third level at 5. Okay. They go up 4th level at
you're using
7. Yeah. So right now some of their hirelings are 5th level, which means they've been on 14 adventures, 13. So, but now it takes another 20. It's going to take 6 more adventures for them to go up 1 level. So they pretty much stalled out at their 3rd, 4th, 5th level.
Right.
But you got to remember too that they have a party, Glenn. It's all dwarves. So there's no mages at all. That they have they have a cleric. They've got thieves. They've got a paladin, a dwarven paladin. What they don't have is magic users. Now they have one player, John Lau, is playing a human magic user that has joined them because they have to hire mages. You cannot compete without mages. So what they did was they went in town, the town they're at, there is a guild there, and they specifically hire out mages for dwarven expeditions because every dwarf expedition needs a sleep spell, needs a charm person, a magic missile. I mean, Well,
that's when I make sure, that's when I go, you guys better stock up on magic items.
Yeah, I mean, and so
you got the healing covered,
So most of their, and so again, they've got their fighters covered. They've got clerics. They've got everything. What they don't have is mages. So almost all their NPCs are mages, and so they have to keep them alive too, because you're talking, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th level mages. Now, the 2 main mages they have been on them with every adventure, named Shella and Lamb. And they and they're friends too, and they're 5th level now. They've been on every adventure with the dwarves, and so they're in charge of mage wrangling. They basically pay them a salary, and they say, "You hire the mages, and we trust your judgment."
They're the mage wranglers.
Yes, they're the mage wranglers. So, and they actually had an adventure where they had hired 3 lower level mages, and they were in this really hairy fight. And I started rolling morale. All 3 of the mages failed them around. They went and hid in the back room. After that mission, Lamb and Shella fired him and said, "You're blacklisted from this company, from this company of dwarves. We will never hire you again." So those NPC sheets went into the back of the folder because the players were the players were like, "Man, we're not going to give those guys anything." They ran off, and I said, "You're right." And Lamb and Shella are going to deal with that. And they said, "You fired. Get out of here." And they were like, "Oh, cool. All right, you guys get a bonus now. You fired the mages that went and ran off but I played it like it was because I was rolling morale like, oh, they're failing morale because they were in a nasty combat. I mean, it was like it was touch and go, and I was like, yeah, their reasoning is they're 2nd level mages, they only have 5 hit points. I'm not going to run in that combat. But yeah, so they've learned to hire. So they hire the mages, and they do. And what they've done is they've managed to free some slaves as the Durgar who rule the Underdark. They've taken a lot of dwarves slaves over the years, and humans and other things. So they've been rescuing people, and when they rescue them, every once in a while they run into one that's like, "Hey, would you like to hire on to go back and deal out some revenge to these evil dark dwarves?" And they're like, "Yes, we'll do that." And so they have a bunch of guys in their party are also motivated by, revenge. And then they have one guy, they have a bard, and the bard, they rescued Bingo the bard. Bingo the bard, they rescued at 1st level. And he's a bit of a goober, but he rescued him, and he immediately said, I'm gonna make a song about you to commemorate you rescuing me. And so he created a song, he went into town. Well, I've been rolling these charts. Well, he's become like uber famous now. Like the dwarves pour into the guild hall to hear his power ballads. He plays heavy metal power ballads about this dwarven company and all the monsters they fight. And so he's been getting more and more famous. And so now he's addicted to going on adventures with the dwarves because he writes up their adventures as power ballads. And so he's, it's like, Metallica or something. He's writing these major power ballads. And so yeah, he's a fun character because he doesn't adventure for gold. He just does it for the fame. He tells them because they're like, and every once in a while they'll give him a little reward, like, oh yeah, you helped us out a lot. He's like, no reward. My fame is reward enough. Like, all right, well,
making more money with his fame. Yes.
So they'll slip a gem in his purse or his his pocket, when he's not looking, because they're like, the guy, the guy's doing really well. But so yeah, he's a fun character too, because he's well known among the bards now. Like, as a matter of fact, he's more well known in the dwarves in the party. Like, he'll be walking the street and they'll go, hey, bingo, and like, oh, well, and they're like, who are you? Like, I'm Bluto Cobblestone. Oh, yeah. Well, you're a friend of Bluto. You're a friend of Bingo. It's like, dude, we're dwarves. How come the humans, is your, because man, he brought the house down last night at the guild hall. It was incredible. So,
oh wow.
So they have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, we're having a blast with that. So
see, this is what fun groups do, Eric.
Oh well,
not mine.
Why is hold on? What was your group not fun? What you're not?
The Monday group. Well, I don't really want to say. Because
I got you.
There
say no more
people who watch this, but
who watches this?
So I'll tell you, Glenn. So there is one. I'll give you one. We have one advantage.
I'll tell you off there. Okay, I'll tell you off there.
Everybody in my group are very veteran players. 3 of the people in my group I've been gaming with for 30 years.
Wow.
The other 2, John Lyle's one of the other ones, and John Lyle. He comes to the con every year. I've done him for 15 years now, almost 20 years. And Jim Johnson, who also comes to the con. So they're all veteran gamers. They don't screw around. And they know how to have a little fun. They don't have any inter-party conflicts. They don't screw with each other. But here's another thing that I think is kind of genius. And I would recommend this to people running games. So if you ever thought of a way to get how would you get all these various personalities together to form a party of characters? Well, they're all the same family. They're all the same dwarven family. Mm-hmm. They have the same last name, and they're there to make their family more famous by defeating these monsters by freeing the dwarven homeland.
You got to.
It makes them work together. Yeah, that makes them all work together, and they're all cousins. They're brothers and cousins, and everybody's related, and so there's no conflict there. They're all just helping each other,
right.
Whatever. And it worked miracles, because not that these guys would have been bad, because like I said, they're very experienced gamers. But if you're ever thinking about running a party, anybody listening to this, create a relationship like that in your party, because it will immediately solve most inter-party conflicts. If you say, look, you guys are all in the same family, you pick what your relationships are, your cousins, brothers, sister, whatever, you're in the same family, and here's the reason you're venturing. Boom. They immediately start working on the relationships. Okay, yeah, this is my brother, this is it, and they will help. They'll help each other. They'll run and, oh my gosh, my brother's being eaten by a minotaur, and they'll run back and get him, even though they didn't want to. Like, what am I going to tell my mother? I can't go back and tell my mother that the minotaur ate my brother, and so they run in there to kill the minotaur, and it really helps. Because look, there's no. If you think about your average, okay, so why would an elven thief, a dwarven fighter, a half-orc barbarian, 2 mages, and a cleric of war and a cleric of healing ever get together? They wouldn't. It would make no sense. Nothing would keep them together past the first adventure. Another successful idea I ran of this once was I know it's a trope, but they were all shipwrecked. They were all shipwrecked together, and I use that.
You don't see that one very often.
Well, that's a very classic Douglas or Aaron Alston module called. It's N4.
I know what you're talking.
Yeah, they get shivered. Yeah, the treasure hunt. And so I used that as the beginning. They were all captured, and then the pirate ship they were on crashed. And so, okay, here you guys are. And so it's a real weird party. There's a barbarian, there's a mage, there's a ranger, and so they ended up being this archipelagio, and they had to get home. They had no boat, no anything. So they managed to steal a boat. They steal a boat. And so they start island hopping to get back to civilization. Well, they find, some villages, and they find it, like I put all these adventures on the different islands. And so by the time they reach a town, they're like 6th or 7th level. And they're like, at that point, they're friends because they've been together on all these adventures. So now it makes sense that the barbarian is hanging out with the mage, and the You know, because the mage and so I the one guy wouldn't play barbarian, we're gonna play mage. I said, you're gonna have to work it out because you're not gonna like each other. Well, they worked it out because the mage lied to the barbarian and said, I just wanted you to know I'm a white magician. There's black magicians and white magicians. I'm a white magician. And white magicians, you know, he made it like, you know, we do special magic that helps the land and helps this, that, and he just bullshitted him. And so of course the barbarian was very stupid. He's like, oh, okay. Oh yeah. He goes, yeah, I'm not a bad mage. I'm a good mage. Now, all those other mages out there, they're bad. You need to kill them and bring their magic to me. And when I get their magic, I'll destroy their magic because it's bad. And of course he'd keep it all. He would pretend like he's breaking the wands and doing this stuff.
That sounds like something that happened an earlier Hyperborea campaign. I had a guy who played a witch. And she didn't have very good defenses. The armor class was like really low and such. And I said, well, what are you you can't wear armor and stuff. What are you going to do? She said, simple. And she charmed the barbarian. That's my armor.
That is a absolutely logical way to think about it. So. Yeah,
absolutely.
Stephen Fowler said too. Kevin Crawford has that's another. I thought that was a good idea too. I think somebody once had said that make them all part of the same society, like they're part of a society that, and like they have a purpose. Like your purpose is to. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the article I read, but it was like it gave like 5 or 6 different reasons that societies can be part of. One of them was that they're a society that stalks us, that tries to keep assassins from killing people, and so they draw them from all different classes, but they all work together because there's an assassin trying to kill the king of whatever. You guys need to go there and stop them, and then while the way they have all these adventures, and they have an adventure when they get there, and this that, but they also stop, and so they all have a reason to be together, even though they're different personalities.
Right. That sounds great. You know, this all falls into my general of you have to have a premise. Mm-hmm. I don't care what game you're running. I learned that playing Mutant Future. And it's like, because Mutant Future and Gamma World, it's a great game, but it's like they just turn you loose. And you know, a lot of people I've seen people play who run Gamma World. They just have people wander around. No, you got to have a premise.
I'll give you 2 good premises for
Gamma World. I didn't come up with it, but Tim Snyder came up with the fact that they were the group of characters were the collections department for Barter John's trading post, and he had
there you go. Good idea.
Send them out to do stuff. I now have the gelatinous dudes in my fantasy world who clean up old dungeons and maintain them for rest stops.
Okay.
And and now they're not the cleanup crew, but they're the troubleshooters. They're the specialists. They say the crews they're having a problem with this. They got something in there. Go fix it. So and that makes it so easy to run it
because like you said, there's no consistency. I had two plot lines I used through every Metamorphosis Alpha Gamma World game. One is you're all 16 years old, you're set out on a mission to go prove yourself, and you have to go far away and come back. Mm-hmm. By the time they come back, they're a party. So they're all together because they're part of the same clan. They all grew up together. They all have relationships, and I'll even make up their own relationship. Like, okay, that guy was a bully to me. Well, you have to be his friend now. Oh, I don't want to be his friend, And then the other one I have is they wake up out of cryogenics, and you're in your room, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh man, where am I? And you're all the same group, and you're all cryogenically frozen. And then that way you have to experience Gamma World together. You don't know what's going on. You walk out there and you're like, holy crap. And you start out all purebred humans, right? But we all know what happens when you get around radiation. Things happen. So sometimes you get mutated. So some of the players end up becoming mutants. And then I let them, if you wanted to play a NPC that was like, a bear, a wolfoid or something, I let them do that. So that worked out too, because they're all in the same boat. We all just woke up. We're all from, 1999. We don't know what's going on. It's 200 years later. The world's in a shithole. It's a shit heap. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Yeah. And so, they're all, so that worked. Both of those work pretty good. Because I'm with you, Glenn. A game like Gamma World, you can't just throw all these, okay, I've got a plant, intelligent plant, a bear
Mutant,
human,
yeah.
a mutant, 2 pure strain humans, a robot. You've got to have a reason. It's just too crazy. You can't say you just all met up in a bar one day. It doesn't make any sense. We'd all met up in a bar one day.
Their boss, Brother John, is a mutated bear. That's their boss who talks. I always play him like John Goodman. And that game at the convention, he sent him out to help his friend Cracker Jim, who was a mutated alligator down south, down in New Orleans. And so, then I start establishing, like, maybe there's a network of these trading posts that other guys, and Barter John knows this guy over here in the desert, knows this guy over here in the Northwest, and go help him. That's another way. I mean, you get a good premise, you can expand it to.
Well, Steve Winter, all his Gamma World games he runs at conventions. It's Dr. Monkey, I think his name is, or Dr. Chimpanzee. He's a super intelligent. He's an ape with like 25 intelligence. And so what he does is he sets up every adventure by, okay, I need this, you have to go get it, or you have to go here and do this. And so you're all hired by him. You're basically mercenaries hired by Dr. Monkey. I can't remember the guy's name. It's not Dr. Monkey, but it's I keep thinking it's Dr. Monkey. And he's just a super he's got this giant brain. He's a monkey. He's got this giant brain that sticks out of his head. And he tells them what to do. But that sets it up so you don't have to have these long drawn out. Why are we all together?
You get that. Yeah, I hate.
You got arrested. You all got arrested. And you wake up in jail together. Oh
God,
man,
I hate that. Wake up in jail, wake up captured, none of your stuff, and all that kind of crap. I mean, treasure hunt was kind of fun, but not my thing. What about you, Eric? Do you have any premises you use?
I think we woke him up. Wait, your sound's off.
You're muted.
I muted myself when I was clearing my throat. Most of what I run these days is at convention, so I don't even bother. It's usually you start out in the bar or whatever. I'm not too worried about that. I haven't actually run for my regular gaming group probably in about 2 or 3 years because we're all DMs. It's Joe the Lawyer, Tim Shorts, Rob Conley, Matt Jackson, Greg Christopher. These are the guys. These are the names that you know. I mean, everybody's a DM. Everybody is a creative. So right now we've been playing in Joe's game for the last year and a half.
Oh, Joe the Lawyer?
Yeah, every other week. So I think I'm almost 7th level as a gnome priest. So we're getting there.
A gnome priest.
Well, you should just make Joe or you know what? I would want to play one of Greg Christopher's games. Make Greg run Shadow Rim or Shadow Sun. Yeah. That sounds like fun to me. I'd read I never liked Dark Sun until I read Greg Shadow Sun. Then I was like, ooh, I'm into this. I just never liked Dark Sun. Yeah, he does a really good job. His take on Dark Sun is really, really good. I mean, I read it. I'm like going, oh, I would play this. I never wanted to play Dark Sun, but I would play Shadow Sun.
That sounds great. I mean,
that's what I would. Yeah, get Greg to start running you guys an online game. She shouldn't be gone this long without playing.
Well, it happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'll tell you. I was gonna say, I tell you what depresses me is that I was talking to Alex Kamer, and he's in 4 groups right now.
Wow.
And I think they all meet once a week. I'm like, dude, I don't even know where I'd fit that into my schedule.
I'm every other week. Jeez.
Yeah, well, I think one of them might be I think 1 or 2 might be every other week.
Well,
one might even be once a month.
Games every Monday, but we play mostly online, and there are times when the GM, we can't do it, or we can't get people together. So we miss times too, sessions. But we're all like, well, that's the way it goes with gaming and adults. It's going to happen. Life gets in the way.
We have a quorum, so we have 5 people in our group, and if 3 want to get together, then we meet. So we try to work it out, because one of the things I hate about gaming once a month is if you miss 1 or 2 months, you only have 12 times to play a year. You're only going to play a dozen times a year, so you don't want to miss more than 1 or twice, because then you lose the whole thread of the story, and And I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook page where all our adventures are on. We do write-ups and everything. But so what we'll do is if 3 people can get together, we're on. So you know, you can try to make it.
When I was doing Matt Evans' game, that was every other Thursday, which was perfect because that gave people time to figure out their schedules and stuff. And people may still miss, but we played more regular than most, you know, monthly groups, and it worked out. So yeah.
Oh, say something else that another DMing trick that has really helped us. And I've been doing this for several years, not just for this campaign, but we ran a Highfell campaign for 2.5 years before this. I set up a Facebook page for every group they have. Everybody joins the Facebook page, and I will write up every session and put it up there. And I have one post. It's all the main characters. I could put all the files up because you can load the files to that Facebook page. So I load any files up, like here's the spells you can use. Here's, you know, this and that, any history. So I have all this stuff on the site. So if they ever look something up, they go to the site.
Right.
But so that worked out pretty cool because that way you can read up and find out, okay, what are we doing, or what did we do last time? We haven't played in a while. But what I did this time is I did something a little different. I said, okay, if anybody else wants to do a write-up of the session, I will give you a reward. It can be a magic item, a potion, or whatever. They loved it, and they have written up some hilarious write-ups because they write it in character. And sometimes 3 people will do a write-up with 3 diametrically opposed views. Like they're all the hero of their own story. Let's put it that way. Like everybody else was screwing the pooch, and I came in and saved everybody. And here's what I did.
It's a Rashomon situation. Yeah.
Exactly. And they love that. They have had such a good time writing them up. And they really, like I said, they take on my brother, he's a militant fighter cleric priest, and fighter priest dwarf. And he doesn't even have, and he's just a militant. He's all dwarves all the time. Humans are like dogs or animals, you know, they're pets. Well, like the mages they hire, that those are like pets to him. They're good pets, but they're pets. And boy, he writes up some of the most hilarious write-ups because it's just like, it's like, you know, the dwarves do everything. Like one of his things was they're rescuing slaves. He goes, boy, have you ever noticed how many slaves are human? Or others? Dwarves don't let themselves be taken slaves. We have more pride than that. All the slaves we're rescuing are humans. Humans have so little pride in their race.
Oh, you off yourself other than being...
exactly. That's what his opinion would be. And then sometimes they do rescue dwarven slaves, and his opinion is very low of them. They should have just done. They should have killed themselves. Like, how would a dwarf be that low as to be a slave? I can't understand it. So they throw these in their little descriptions of the adventures, and it's
love
funny,
those kind of characters.
But it's good for the group because it keeps them involved. It keeps them involved in the plot. Right. It keeps them involved in the game, and it keeps them. They also have to remember something. Look, sometimes when I'm doing the write up, I forget things, and sure enough, right after I do the write up, I get 2 people going, nope, that was the wrong person. This person got the Ring of Regeneration. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So they keep you honest too, because they're in there going, no, that didn't happen. Right. That guy's like, one time I had a guy's name wrong, and I wrote it the whole description, and they said, no, that guy was Gonzo, not Gorbo. Like, I got to go back and change all the Gonzo back to Gorbo. But no, I highly recommend using like a blog spot, or we used to use, now back in the day, I used Blogspot, and I had a blog for all my groups. And I recently went back, found how to get to those, and I copied them all because we don't play any of those campaigns for years and years. But we probably played about 20 sessions in both the campaigns I had. I saved those. Now they're in a Word file. And I recently talked to some of my people in my old campaign and said, hey, do you want these? And they're like, yes, you saved those? I was like, yeah, I have all our old, adventures we went on. So they were really excited that I actually put those in the Word file. But
that's
no, I would highly recommend that. Make a Facebook page, or I don't know, whatever the kids do nowadays.
Some kind of wiki, a wiki or
TikTok,
something.
A wiki, wikis works,
I have a problem that I can't seem to get a campaign going. Everything I do is one shots.
I'll tell you what, Greg, it's tough. It's really tough.
Monday group they're really talented. They love playing and stuff, but I think it's another one of those cases of too many GMs. The guy who's running now, he's new, he's doing it, And I also got my friend Carlos, who was running a campaign. He did that 2-year Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation campaign, which I will never forget. And then there's me.
Okay.
And then I heard another person I heard, well, they want to do it. And it's like, okay. And, I do maybe a 1-shot or a 2-shot if somebody's not ready. And that's all I get,
Well, see, that's interesting because the problem back in the day, Glenn, when we used to game back in the day, is that you couldn't find a DM. That's why I'm like the forever DM now, because none of my friends want to DM. Not going to DM. And so rather than just sit there and never play, I'm like, well, I guess I'm the DM. And so I create all these campaigns that we've gone over through the years. And I like creating campaigns. I'd like to play every once in a while, but these guys they're not going to do it. But they're just not going to do it consistently.
I love,
so
I just realized how much I love to game master. And if I was a forever GM, I don't think that it'd bother me, except the pressure of, keeping it going.
Yeah.
But, that's gonna happen anyway. But I'm really decided I pretty much like GMing all the time. I
like creating my own world, so to speak. And I've been forever GM now for 40 years, but I like it, so it's okay. And I find players, but I don't deal. I just don't find the people like, no, I want to run my own campaign. I'd be like, really? Oh my gosh, who are you, unicorn? Usually people don't want to run their campaign. They want to play in your campaign. And so the problem we always had when we were younger is we could never find a DM. And if we found a DM, he was lousy and he sucked. And we're like, oh God, this guy's terrible. Because it's kind of like the Dunning-Kruger thing. The people who are the worst DMs think they're the best. They think, oh, I run this great campaign. You would always know if somebody said they ran a great campaign, you'd be very wary. Like, because good DMs didn't brag. They're just like, yeah, I run this, that. And you're like, okay, you play. Okay, that's a great campaign. But the people who would always say, oh my gosh, my campaign is so good, it's so great, and you'd play and you'd be like, dear God, that was terrible.
Well, listen, you shouldn't be asking the DM. You should be asking the players.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, my problem is, like I said with Call of Cthulhu, and I had this problem with Hyperborea at first, but I'm getting out of it, is the fact that I'm always afraid to be module bound because I can't think of anything. It's like I've got a dozen modules. What happens when they run through all of these, And so I finally started in Hyperborea, it's a lot easier than running a Call of Cthulhu game.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's fantasy. I know fantasy. I know D&D and all this other stuff.
Well, plus you can hex crawl too. I mean,
hex crawl. That's what I really.
You can have a whole.
I'm still working on that.
Yeah,
I'm working.
I did that in my last campaign. I had a few times we'd show up, nothing's planned, and then I'm just rolling behind I'm like, okay, hex crawl time, and I roll 5 encounters, and I just make them all work together. And
I've got a shelf. As you know, I have a shelf of movies up there that are what I call my grindhouse collection.
Oh, yeah.
They're all like Mill Creek 50 movie, 100 movie, whatever. And one of the main reasons they're there is so I can get ideas for adventures.
Mm-hmm.
What can I steal? Yeah. This may be a crappy movie, but it's got a good idea that I can steal. That's the whole point of, not the whole point, but most of the point of it's there.
I remember one time getting together, one of the best adventures I ever ran. And so they were leading this caravan across this area, and I wanted to have an adventure on the way because I hadn't finished the adventure they were going to run into once they got there. So I said, okay, we're going to have an adventure on the way. I had no clue, Glenn. We show up there, and I said, okay, you're off, doing your thing, and then you notice there's like a door in the side of this hill. I didn't know what was behind the door. I didn't know. Oh, okay, cool. They go check the door out. It's a stone door. No locks on it. No way to get in. So they figured out how to get in. And then I just started absolutely spitballing it from there. They went down hallways. There were some traps. And it turned out it was a death cult had inhabited it. And there was, sacrifice rooms. There was skeletons. There was all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And so after the adventure, our players go, man, what adventure was that? What did you run? Because I would love to run that for my party. I'm like, I just made it up. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, I just made it. And it worked, but it just worked out because they went along with it, Glenn. They went with it. They're like, okay, cool.
I ran a Sword and Wizardry campaign where I just started with the hook, which is usually what you start with, but usually go, okay, what can you do with this when you have time? But they were in a bar. I started them in a tavern. What an original idea, starting them in a tavern. But one of the guys went out to the alley to get some air. Went to the back door and to get some air. I had an owlbear run through the alley, followed by 3 or 4 guys chasing after it, trying to catch it. And it's like, well, what can we do with this? Where am I going? Okay, fine. There's a circus that's right out of town, and their owlbear got away and booked it. And so they had to help them catch the owlbear, who ran into the woods, of course, and then they started running into stuff. I mean, the owlbear, they could see where it went, and they're running. They run into a bunch of bugbears. That was just like, what the heck? That ran by, and they turn around and says, oh, humans, let's play. And there's the first encounter right there, and I just went off of that. It was fun. It's all I had was an owlbear run through an alley. That's it.
So Doug Ray had some of the best hooks ever. So when he played, he was a very so I prepare, I write stuff. I mean, here's for the next bench. I've already got all this stuff written down. I mean, I get hit points here. Doug would go in there, nothing. He would have 5 or 6 ideas. What he'd do is you'd meet in a tavern. There'd be these different people sitting at the table, and you'd like kind of decide what adventure you wanted based on who you talk to. And that guy, I didn't like his gaming style because I don't like storytelling style. He had a very storytelling style. He rarely rolled dice. He didn't roll a lot of dice. He didn't roll a lot of dice during a session. He just basically let the players kind of dictate the action.
I love storytelling too, but if I can't roll dice,
no. But I remember one time I was sitting there listening, and he had a great idea enough to where I wanted to do a mega dungeon of it, and I still have this idea. And someday I'm going to write this, and it's going to be a gigantic adventure. But it was like there was 2 dwarves. They're covered with oil, with grease, and I'm watching him run this game. Players go, "What are you up to?" Like, "Oh, we went to the dragon's lair, but we don't fight the dragon. We do what's called trickling." They go, "What's trickling?" Well, we just go to the edge of his pile. We grab a few. We slide down this hole that we found that leads to the lair, and that's why we were covered with grease. And we slide in there. We grab just like a sack full, and then we scamper back up so he doesn't catch us. And he hasn't caught us yet. You guys want to join us next time? And I'm like, that is a genius idea, because this dragon, apparently his hoard was so gigantic he couldn't watch every side of it at once. Right. And so, of course, one of the things you had to watch out for was other people trickled too, and they might fight you over treasure. Well, the one thing he didn't do is didn't want to get the dragon's attention. So everybody had to be real quiet. And of course, he created all these little dangers along the way. And there's monsters. Like the way to get there, you had to go through this long tunnel system just to get to this back way to go down this cistern to slide in there. And of course, there's monsters there and stuff. But I just thought, and I was asking Doug later, where did you get that idea? He goes, I don't know, I just thought of it. But he could think of some of the best hooks ever. He would have been a great D&D writer if he could have ever stuck to that. Doug, his stuff was really evocative. And I just remember thinking, man, that is for the spur of the moment, that is a great idea.
I mean, I've gotten to the point where I feel comfortable coming up with something from nothing. Practically nothing. As long as I have like the rule books and some notes, I'm good.
But that's experience, right? I mean, that just comes from experience, because and you have to be smart enough to also play off your players. What do your players like? Do they like hex crawls? Like most of my groups I've run, they love tactical combat. That they will love nothing better than to set up it's a 50 by 80 room. Okay, they're drawing it out of the thing, and then there's 30 bugbears over here, and they're supported by archery, and they will grab my characters and put them all out there. I don't even have to set the table up. They love that, and then they're sitting there going, okay, you're gonna go over there, and they're just doing their tacticals, and they love tactical. They don't like necessarily, I don't know. They would hate a murder mystery. Oh my God, they'd hate that. They would hate that worse than anything.
Well, every once in a while I come up with like a premise, and I will run with that. When I was doing the Hyperborea campaign, Gage will play always like something like a paladin, right? Real, lawful good paladin and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I think I'm going to make an adventure that'll really kind of press his buttons about that. not in a bad way. It's just I wanted something where, what if he met a paladin that was not all that great? And that's what I started with the thing about I had where this monastery that takes care of the sick, and they were this good deity, but actually they were this bad deity because this one mage or high priest was corrupted, and it's like, and mind control and all this. He was a good paladin, but he was like his head was being messed with. That's the one where I came up with. They're taking care of people in their infirmary and storing their urine in jars.
Okay.
And they had a couple characters that obsessed with why are they doing this. I never told them. I just put it up there because let's do something strange, because I wanted to trigger like something weird is going on. These guys don't seem to be as good a guy as they do, and I put it up there. It's always like after all the things that happen, they want to go back and find out why the urine bottles were there.
There's a box of Ginny D's socks under here too. I don't know why.
Whoa! Now we're taking it in dangerous places, man.
But man, that whole thing with the urine bottles was funnier than him. I was just
I love it,
laughing my ass off.
Oh my god!
Because I had no reason why they were doing that.
And they're like,
at least nobody sampled it. That's thing.
Yeah, but say, did anybody decide they're going to?
I was not going to go there. I was going to
moonshine out of it.
Yeah, I was not going to take that step of having like a priest come up and go, "Hey," I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, no.
Who's the billionaire that used to save all his ex?
Howard Hughes.
Oh God, poor Howard Hughes.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so
that was weird.
I see why all these priests have halitosis, but.
On that note,
yeah, Howard Hughes said that his estate had an issue getting rid of all his saved things because there's no good. You can't just pour them. They're considered a hazardous substance.
Really,
you can't just pour 2,000 bottles of that in the sink or throw it out in the desert or whatever. I mean, I guess
what happens when you take a leak? It goes there anyway.
But not all at once. You're not taking thousands of leaks and pouring all that leak there. So they were trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. And who's the poor guy that gets hired to pour that stuff into the toilet? Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I don't just brought it to the desert and just pour it out in the desert. Desert's already, it's a mess anyway, right?
Oh, what are you saying, Eric?
What am I saying?
Well, I heard on that note, and I know
I don't think we can get any
crazier.
Yeah,
we're
talking Howard Hughes, urine jars, potentially.
It was a great adventure.
Yeah, I think yeah. What's that word? Tapping out, man. I'm tapping out. Ginny D's socks. I didn't say her underwears. I said her socks.
I came in. That's what was the topic of conversation. I don't know why you.
I know. I'm just.
Well, we know how to summon the genie now. Just say Ginny D.
Ginny D. Say it 3 times like Candyman.
Leave Jenny alone. She's just a girl making. She's a girl making a living. She's making a living. Come on.
Whatever.
Making something. Whatever. Yeah, that's right, Glenn. Whatever.
Anyway, do the thing, Eric.
The thing. Marvelous.
The thing.
We could probably sing like, "We're so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh or sing a song." You don't want me singing. Glenn, maybe.
M-I-C, see you real soon. K-E-Y.
K-E-Y.
Because we like you. M-O-U-S-E.
Yeah.
Now it's time to say goodbye.
I see Glenn. I see Michael. I see.
Linus and his friends must go, so we leave you with.
You're gonna get a content strike if these songs go on too long. You're gonna say,
"Hey, only sing 30 seconds of it."
You stole this. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're not singing enough. Perfect.
We're not singing. We got to sing more. No, we don't.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
There you go. Anyway,
Skies are blue.
what's your ending spiel? I forget.
Live stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Myself, my wife, Rach, and then there'll be a Game as Hell next month, toward the end of the month. But we're gonna have probably Glenn on. Glenn will be in house.
If I'm not mugged yet by then.
Oh, Emperor's Choice has popped on. They popped on real quick. Thank you very much, Emperor's Choice. Oh, I can't wait to see what's going in the package.
What more? Oh my goodness!
JD's, more socks. Okay,
you guys are. Don't send us socks.
No. Yeah,
I could use some socks actually.
Well, I'm afraid to get like Arduino underwear or something.
Oh, I would be afraid.
Hey, I'd wear that.
Black ones with the logo right in front.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
By the way, as a total aside,
Arduino, bloody Arduino.
Gaming at the beach shirts that the Hawaiian North Texaners brought, like, I don't know, before COVID. They only had like triple X or something like that, or quadruple X. Those are my game shirts. I feel like my sleep shirts. I put them on. It's like I've got so much room. I could get away without wearing underwear for so long. So
RPGs on the beach. RPGs on the beach. I think we still have some at the warehouse. Those guys gave us a bunch. They gave us a whole stack of those.
Yeah.
They're great.
I have
huge shirts.
I have two, and those shirts, you can barely see the writing on them at this point because they're so faded, because they're my sleep shirts. So God bless those guys.
Yes,
folks. Again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
No socks.
Probably over the next couple of days, you're going to see some different stuff on this channel. I'll be using different software than StreamYard. So I will be experimenting. We'll see where we land.
Okay.
But it's going to be this channel.
Should be fun.
It might look a little bit different. And other than that, be safe, be well. God bless. For this dice for the well. Thank you to Mike for again. Thank you for old
Radio Grognard, Thaco's Hammer, and good night, folks.
Live long. Wait, I can't do it with that hand. Live long and
win free one of these items on the wall. Just right.
Wait, you put you're selling?
Wow.
Wait,
I'm gonna put my number up, and if you call this, I thought this was gonna go off already. I was gonna shut it off right now.
Oh no! I didn't hit the button yet. There we go.
That's
all right. All right, folks.
Call this number for something